Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. I have an unboxing all lined up for us. It's an unboxing that I had promised to do on one of my groups on Facebook, and the unboxing is a very special deck, an old deck, an antique perhaps deck, in two different iterations. It is the Etteilla Tarot. The Etteilla Tarot. Now, frankly, this is a tarot that asks for study that I have not done yet. I was waiting to get the decks that I wanted to use to do the study before I dived into it. But these are both Etteilla decks. They're both by Scarabeo. This one was apparently an add-on to a Kickstarter many years ago. It was a limited edition that was put out and unfortunately not reproduced. I think this deck could stand reproducing, but I snagged a copy on eBay. And so this is a deck that I had wanted for about a year or more now, since I heard about it, since I found it on eBay. This is another Scarabeo deck, which I believe is still in print. Also, Etteilla, a different iteration of the Etteilla, I believe. This is called the Book of Thoth, Tarot de Etteilla. So what I'm going to do is do a side-by-side of both of these. And so I have not even removed the plastic yet. What I will do is turn the camera down, remove the plastic, and we can dive in together. Let's take a look. Okay, here we are. I am excited about this because I really have been waiting for this deck for a long time. This deck I purchased on a whim because I wanted a comparison deck, and this is still available. So this is the limited edition of the Etteilla Tarot by Scarabeo. One of the features of this box is not only that it opens in a unique way, but there's also a velvet-like material on the cover. Yeah, this woman's dress is all in a red velvet-like color. Now, gotta say, there was a little bit of smudge, perhaps from the velvet in the printing, but I'm living with it. So in this image, the man's hat and the backs of his legs is in that red velvet-like material. And then again, the woman on the back. Beautiful, beautifully done box. There is the Scarabeo, what is that called? A barcode. And here's what would be the top of the box with the Ace of Cups. And look, there's a little bit of that red velvet-like material on the sleeve of this hand. Beautiful, beautifully done. I wish they would reprint this deck. And here's that guy, same velvet touches. Beautifully produced box. And okay, so there is plastic on the inside. Let me show you the box on the inside. Very plain, but a very interestingly designed and convenient, I think, box. Here is the little salmon book instead of a little white book. This is all in French, I believe. Let me check. Okay, so yes, that is French. Le Château. And yes, from soup to nuts, it's all in French. Okay, so that's why it's really, really good that I have access to PDF files with the writings of Etteilla. So this was produced by B.P. Gramont in Paris. I think this is a reproduction of what is called the Type 1. There are different iterations of the Grand Etteilla. And even in type 1, there are variations. There are many variations within the type 1, and then there's a type 2 and a type 3. So this is, I believe, a type 1. I'm not sure what type this is. But, so what I will do now is I will open this up. This is a plain tuck box, very easy to open tuck box. The back, so I think this is a type 3 because of this sun image. That's what it leads me to believe. Hopefully there will be information in the little white book. So here we have an actual white book, right? And probably a title card, the Book of Thoth. So what I will do now is I will unleash the Kraken. I will open up the, oh, these are going to be very easy to open, so I don't need to stop the camera for this, I don't believe. Okay, so, yes, here we go. This is the deck I have been waiting for a while. They're glossy cardstock, which will not make for beautiful, easy to film photos, but let's see what they look like. Now this one, I think there is a way to get into this easily. It looks like it has what we used to think of as a cigarette pack band in the plastic, but I can't. There's the beginning. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so let me open up this. Let me peek at the little white book to see if I've got information about which edition this is. History. Let's see. Okay. So, Grand Etteilla 2, Grand Etteilla 3 were printed exactly identically to the original one, even concerning the titles and captions by Scarabeo. This version appeared in France around 1870 with the title Grand Jeu de Oracle de Dance. The most obvious difference in the relation to the previous models concerns the medieval style figures. The symbol of some images, however, were also considerably transformed. For example, Prudence, number 12, became a young girl holding a mirror with a serpent wound around its handle, whereas Temperance, number 10, became a woman holding a horse bit. All of the captions on the cards rather remained unchanged. So the captions on the cards remain unchanged, but I believe this is a type 3 deck. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's see. Here we have a beginning of the type 1 information. And chaos represented rather than light in number 15. It was illustrated with 78 cards. Okay, so let us move right into the decks. So this is an extra card. That doesn't give us much necessary information. This is what the backs look like. And this is what look at this. We've got a card here with meaning. One card, two cards with meanings. That would be handy if I were a more fluent reader of French, but it might be handy anyways. I might be able to figure out this limited amount of French. So this is what the backs of the deck that I ordered, the limited edition deck, and this is what the backs of the more commonly available deck from Scarabeo look like. And let me flip this around to the first card, which is the Querent Etteilla card. And let's see, what do we have at the top here? So, yes, we see they are very different. Here's the Etteilla, le questionnant, the chaos. But let's see, here we have an Aries astrological symbol. We don't have any astrological symbols on this one, however. And this is nice. But see, this is the kind of image that I really, really wanted, the one on the left. So here we go with the sun card, I believe. La luminaire. Let's see. And here we have, for card number 2, éclaircissement, faux, fire. Yeah. Taurus is here. We don't have any of those astrological symbols there. La luminaire. We don't have la luminaire here. Element. So these are very different. These are very, very different. And frankly, I prefer this. Now, you can see that the background on the card, you've got this border here, right? It's kind of to my eyes, it's like a very light, well, not, a salmon, a light salmon. It's not exactly beige, there's more pink in it. What do you see? You see probably a little bit more beige than I see. I see a little bit more red. But even this background has a little bit of a pinkish hue to it as well. So, I mean, both are good. I prefer this deck. I know a lot of people love this deck, and I know some very active YouTube tarot people who love this sun image here. But for me, this is the one I like. Okay, moving on. Number 3, the moon. See, it's an interesting face, but I prefer this one, which reminds me a lot more of right, the Marseille, or even the Golden Dawn type decks, right? I get the idea of a moon, I guess. Le Planier. We got number 3. The O, it's for water. O, we got water here. Propos. Again, we have Gemini here. We don't have that on here. Number 4 is the star. Get the star here, but this image is the kind of image that I like better, personally. We've got Cancer up here on this top and bottom. We have air. Interesting. That looks English, but it can't be. Déprimant. Interesting that this is air, and yet the sign is Cancer, and it's a star card. Notice the astrological symbols up here. We've got Venus. We have, I'm sorry. This is Taurus. This is Venus. This is Mars. This is, I believe, the moon, I suppose a star. This is Jupiter, and I think this is Saturn. But this doesn't look, this should be Mercury, shouldn't it? And it looks more like Taurus to me, which is interesting. Love the butterfly here. On this side, we've got the rings of planets and then the ring of stars on the external, yeah, which is how the ancients saw the spheres, the heavenly spheres. Yeah, we would be here. There's the sphere with the moon, and the planets would be here, and then the stars would be in this farthermost ring, and here's the sun. Okay, so for number 5, what do we get? We have, let's see, it's called Voyage. Terre, looks like the world card, right? We have Leo here in the corners, but we've also got the 4 suits here in symbol and in image. Here we have Scorpio with the eagle. We have the angel with Aquarius. We have the lion, which this is, I suppose, is Leo, though it's kind of on its side here. And then the sign for Taurus with the bull. Interesting. At first I thought these were sailboats, but I don't think they're sailboats. They must be pyramids of sorts, I guess. Interesting. Notice we have a female figure here and a male figure here. That's an interesting change. Le homme est le quadrupède. The man is the quadruped? Man is a quadruped? Okay. Moving right along. I'm not going to try and translate French for you because, like I just did, I'm sure I made a mess of it. Here we go with nuit. jour, night and day, nuit, jour. Those titles are the same. We have Virgo here, top and bottom. And that looks like, is this, well, it's not the sun. It's not the moon. Yeah, this is the sun. Or just a second. Maybe this is the sun. This is fire. Huh? Moon. Okay, so like I said, I need to study this deck. It says les astres, the stars. So is this the star card? I do not know. That looks like the moon to me. That looks just like a star up there. That looks like the sun. I do not know. Okay, moving night and day. Here we go with, ooh, that is an interesting image. We've got a snake up here. We've got birds here. This looks like the skull of, or maybe is that a head of a turtle? Some kind of a sea creature. Don't know. Here we have birds in a tree. I mean, these images are very, very different. We've got Libra here on the corners in the limited edition deck. Appui, protection. I do like this little border design here at the bottom. That's an interesting touch. Okay, so moving on to 8, Etteilla. So here's another querent card, but this looks like a female querent card. Whereas the first one might have been male. This looks like Scorpio to me, but I'm not sure. Because I usually like to see more of a tail on the M for Scorpio. Let's see. Etteilla, questiona. Yeah, this looks like a male question, querent, female querent. And then we have, okay, justice. I know justice. I can read justice. And we have Sagittarius on justice here. We've got the lady, we got the sword pointing up, although this looks more like a cooking knife to me, whereas this looks like a sword and scales. The scales are a little difficult to see here. It's a different kind of scale. Here we have the two scales with the two different receptacles. Here's a scale with a weight here and a receptacle here. So it's a different kind of scale, right? Love the checkerboard at the bottom here. And the scalloped cloth at the top above her throne and the wall and the sky behind. This is La Temperance. Very clear, very typical temperance card, right? We've got feet on something square and round instead of land and water, but that's an interesting thing. We've got the wings on the angel. We've got the two vessels, water pouring between them. This must be Capricorn, I guess. And here we have a woman with one chalice, and then I don't know what that is she's holding in her hand. Moving right along. What's next in number 11? It's force. So here we have the strength card in number 11, though the justice card was not in 8, right? The justice card was in 9. But we've got, this is a much nicer relationship, right? Between the lady and the lion. She's not trying to force the lion's mouth open. She's not trying to beat the lion. She's not trying to hold up a tall column. This force is a very set. She's not trying so hard. It's all accomplished, you might even say. Yeah, the relationship is set. We have Aquarius in the corners here in the limited edition deck. Although I do like this lion. The drawing of this lion is a little bit more modern to me. This one looks a little bit odd. This kind of mane is a little bit weird, right? Moving on, what is 12 going to be? 12 is prudence. Okay, so prudence card, we've got the rod that Mercury carries, right? We've got Pisces here in the corners. We've got a snake here at her feet. Her skirts are being lifted up. Now, in this one, Prudence is holding a mirror, which is a very traditional image for Prudence. Looking in the mirror, judging or appraising oneself, I suppose. Holding a book, which is of knowledge, I suppose. I like this background on her. However, I prefer this deck. I really do prefer this deck. Grimont published a deck similar to this one, but it had blue titles in English on it, and I did not like the blue titles. I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't like the blue. If they had been if they had been black, if they had been black, I would have totally gone for one of those reproductions. But I did not like the blue title on the card. So that's why I've been waiting to get my hands on this one. Okay, moving on to marriage, which would be, I suppose, the lover's card, right? At place number 13. And we have instead of an angel in between them, we have a priestly figure. We've got a lady on one side and a gentleman on the other. These two look to be young, marriageable age. These two look to be like an old guy and a young guy. Prefer this one, personally. We no longer have astrological symbols here, right? Because we're at number 13. Union, marriage. And for 14, we have the devil card. Look at that. I like this. I do like this devil. I must say, I like this devil. I like the three-toed feet and hands. I like the bird plumage wings on the devil. I love the colors. However, I also like this. I like the line of it. I like the wings of it. I like that we have the two figures here at the bottom. Showing the dark and the light, the male and the female, looking a little bit more alchemical, you could say. 15, what do we have in 15? We have Maladie, and this looks to me like the magician at number 13. Doesn't it look like the magician to you? We have more tools on the table here, whereas this we've got, what is that, a voodoo doll in red? Perhaps. They both have wands. We don't have this as above, so below gesture in this one, but we don't really have that in Tarot de Marseille either. Or the the older Italian decks either. This looks a little bit more like this has a more ancient feel to it than this. This has a more modern day traveling street performer almost feel to it. Whereas this looks like it's inside of some kind of sacred temple and a rite is being performed. Moving to 16, we have Judgment. Okay, so we've got the angel above with the horn. Well, I don't see a horn in this angel's hand or in this angel's mouth, but we do have radiant light coming down. And we do have, here we have people, at least one person rising from the dead. Yeah, there's a grave. I don't see much rising from the dead in this card. I see people either paying attention to the call or not. Interesting differences, very interesting differences. This is more of what we expect from a Judgment card, I believe. In 17, we have La Mortalité. We have the Death card. Look at that. This card does not have the scythe. I like that this one has the scythe. I like that. Look at that. This one's pointing, he or she is pointing down, or they are pointing down. We've got a crow flying up in the sky, or a raven. I love the architecture in this deck. And are these pyramids? Perhaps this is what the creator of this deck imagined a pyramid looks like. And if so, then that means that here in this world card, these are probably pyramids. Nothing like the pyramids that I've seen in Egypt, but don't know that the person actually got to Egypt to see the pyramids themselves. Although I do like this red sash and the dancing image of the Death card in here, in the more commonly available, I think type 3. Here we go with, the Hermit. Look at that. Look at that. This hermit has the lamp looking off in the distance. Outside, we've got is it daylight or it's nighttime? It's hard to tell. Tira traitre. I don't know what that means. Now notice we have the capuchin. Yeah, a capuchin monk. Yeah, a type of friar. This friar does have a lamp. The lamp does not look well. Can you see this? Can you see these lines outside of next to the candle? It looks like it might be lit, but the color is blue. Whereas here, the lamp is definitely lit and the color is yellow. Yeah, love this dog is so cute. Very, very cute. And here we have the abbey, and this hermit doesn't look like he's at an abbey. These look like older structures left over from either Rome or before, which is interesting. They have a staff. This one has a handle. This one has no handle. Very interesting. I love that this hermit is looking up into the sky. And number 19, we have Miserere. Miserere, this is the tower card. This one is clearer to me as being a tower, although we do get the lightning from above. I'll be able to remember this. We got the lightning from above. We got this tower crumbling slowly, less dramatically than this one. Here we have fire. We've got things in the middle of being toppled over. We've got fire coming down from the heavenly bodies. This one's very dramatic. This is much less dramatic. Frisson. Miserere. Le temple fondrait. The temple on fire, I guess, is what this one says. Okay, number 20 is probably the Wheel of Fortune. Yes, fortune. We got a wheel. We got a lady, her clothes barely staying on. at least that's what it looks like to me. Blindfolded, which is interesting. Here in the limited edition deck, we've got the monkey-like figure on the top. We've got two figures, a human and a rat, going round and round on the wheel. Right now, the human is going down and the rat's going up. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Number 21 is, this is the chariot, right? The chariot. Interesting that this charioteer is holding a scepter, a royal scepter, and the orb, looking more kingly than even princely. Whereas this figure doesn't have all that stuff with them, but they are armored. They do have a crown. The horses in both look like they are looking in different directions, which I like. I love the wheel. I like this deck better. I do like this deck better, frankly speaking. Now we don't have that velvet material here, but this color reminds me of this velvet on the box. Just struck me, so I thought I'd pull it out and say what I said. Moving on to 22. Here we have Homme de Champagne. This must be the Emperor at 22. Interesting. Yeah, this emperor does have the orb and the scepter. No orb. We have a large wand. Now, just a moment. I may be wrong. This could be Homme de Champagne. Let's see. Okay, no. So we have entered the suit of wands. So this is the King of Wands. Got it. King of Wands is number 22. Got a wand. See, this is a little confusing to me because this looks like a standing emperor because of the orb, this scepter looking less like a wand, whereas this one looks like a wand, a tarot-style wand. Here we have Le Femme de Champagne, the Queen of Wands. Yeah, this Queen's wand and this King's wand are the same, which would be helpful now. And we've got the numbers, 22, 23. That is also helpful to reduce confusion. But I like this deck better. I just do. Okay, 24 is the Knight of Wands. Okay, same kind of wand, cute little mustache, but I prefer this one, frankly. I like the the color of the landscape here. I like the horse. I love the chapeau, the hat. An active looking horse. I'm curious to see if the Knight of Coins is going to be more staid, more steadfast, less mobile. Here we have the Page of Wands. Nice outfit on that page. But even more interesting outfit on this one. I like the blue boots. We got the legs showing through the leggings. Ready to head out into the world from their safe space. Interesting. Étranger, stranger, nouvelle, the newbie, I suppose. And so now we go into the wands. They'll be descending from 10 to ace, I believe. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5 and 5, up and down. Frankly, I prefer this one. This reminds me of the Tetactis by Pythagoras. Notice we've got a little figure down here, which adds information to the wand suit. Not all of these areas will be filled in, from what I recall. This is nice. Like this better. Okay, the 9 of Wands. 3 nails here. Perhaps like the 3 nails on the cross, maybe. And we have got 9 wands here. The art on this is more interesting, right? The flourishes are more interesting, more elegant looking, perhaps. This is more cut, dried, very with less embellishments, fewer flourishes, and I like it better. I like it better. Okay, here we have 28, which would be the 8 of Wands. Love this little figure down here below. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little spikes down there on the bottom. And the 7 of Wands. Again, we got 3 nails in a different shape. Now, the first 3 nails were like this. This is a different shape, making like an H. The 6 of Wands. We're down to 2 nails at the bottom. The 5 of Wands. Or. Domestique. Okay, so or, a gold, perhaps, I guess. Procos. I don't know. I don't know. 31. So here we have 32, which is the 4 of Wands. Very stable. Box here on the bottom. Looking very stable. These look stable too. The 3 of Wands. Oh, look at that. I love this thing. Sad that this area will not be filled in all of the cards. 3 of Wands. The 2 of Wands. We've got the cross. Oh, look at that. We've suddenly got background in the 2. We've got a landscape in the 2. Interesting. X marks the spot. And what is the ace like? Okay, the ace, hand holding a wand. Yeah, which is what we would expect from a lot of tarot decks. This is just a stick, right? Most of our decks have a hand offering that wand with 1 nail below. Naissance, a birth, I suppose. Now, it's interesting that this puts naissance at the top and chut, whatever that is, at the bottom, whereas this one seems to do it backwards. That's an interesting thing. I wonder why that is. Okay, here we go. Which suit comes next? We have the cups. Okay, now this is how I would order the suits myself. When I think of the progression of suits, probably because I learned the progression of suits through Thoth, or I learned the logic of a logic. Let me make this less divisive. I learned one logical arrangement of the suits through my study of Thoth, which starts from fire as the first element of the creation and moves into water, its balance, and then moves into air as the third, fire and water, creating air. And then all 3 of those create earth. So that's how I order the suits in my mind. Here we go. Now this we have the blonde man. Interesting. For the King of Cups, we've got a king seated here. We have a standing king there, a very young looking king, almost looking feminine to me, but female to me, I should say, not feminine. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, moving on to the queen. Look at that. Okay. Love this queen. This queen's nice. This queen is nice. Like the green gown, I like the open chalice, but I like this chalice even more. I love her face and I love her crown. Look at that crown. That is such an interesting crown on top of her veil. I love that there's a lid on here, but the lid doesn't cover the whole cup, right? So the cup is open around the lid. So it's a little bit protected, but it's also open at the same time. I think that's an interesting choice, a very interesting choice. And we go to the Knight of Cups, also a little bit mobile here in both of them. Like the mustache on that knight. Like the red wardrobe. Are all the cups? Nope, not all the cups are red. We've got red and, okay, red and green. What were the colors for the wands? The wands were also red, red and yellow-ish. So, red and yellow for the courts in the wands in this deck. Red and green for the courts in the wands in this deck. We don't get that kind of a color choice in the limited edition deck, I don't think. And the page of, oh, look at that. That page is so sweet. We have the clothes, the what do you call that front? I've forgotten the name of that front piece of cloth on this age's, the clothes from this period. I think it starts with a C, but I don't remember. If you remember, write in the comments below. What is the name of this? But it's covering the cup, sort of like what you would imagine an acolyte might do when carrying a cup in procession. Maybe. Here we've got looking less like an acolyte in procession, looking like just a young dude out in the world holding this open cup and a knife. Very interesting differences, right? Garçon blond. The blonde young boy. The blonde boy. Number 4. Okay, so 10 of cups. Again, we got the tetractys here in the cups. Blank at the bottom. But here, the flourishes in the cups are also lovely. In the, I think, the third type 3 deck. Let's see. Okay, this one's okay. 41, the 9, looking very stable. Yeah, very square-like, both of them. These cups on the limited edition deck are much simpler. And I kind of like that. I like the simplicity of this deck more than all of the stuff. Although this cup kind of reminds me of a couple of the cups in the Thoth deck. The Thoth deck. The ones that are shaped sort of like pomegranates. Anyways, moving on to the 8 of cups. Lovely. Love this cup in the center with the circle around it. Oh, we got the same thing going. The same kind of, well, no. See, I see a circle here. I see lines here. What do you see? Do you also see a circle here? It's a little bit more difficult for me to see like a circle of cups around a central figure, whereas this really looks like a central cup with a circle around it. Here we have the 4. No, not the 4. Well, I'm sorry. There should be a 7. 43. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, this was the 7. Oh, okay. Did I show you the 8? Did I skip over the 8? Just in case. This is the 8. Ta-da! This is the 7. Ta-da! Here is the 6. Okay, now, as far as arrangement, I actually prefer this one to this one because it's what I'm used to from Terre de Marseille. However, on the whole, I prefer this deck. Okay, le passé à venir. I told you I wasn't going to try to read French. I'm very sorry. Héritage, héritage. See, I'm not going to do it. And then he does it. The Five of Cups. Very similar arrangement. And the Four of Cups. Ennui. Okay, ennui. Now, ennui, I know that word. Nouvelle connaissance. New associations, new convening, perhaps a new meeting, maybe upside down. But on top, we've got ennui. We all know what ennui means, right? And that's kind of what a lot of people see in the Four of Cups, especially in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Ennui is one of those keywords for the Four of Cups in the Golden Dawn decks. And here we have the three. Lovely. Okay, now a two. Look at that two. I love this two. The cups are in the water. We've got the snake. Now, this hints at the two of cups from Pamela Coleman Smith's art, right? There's no lion at the top, but there is the wand with the two snakes going up the side. Instead of a lion's head with wings, we got flames here at the top. The two cups are underwater. It's a very interesting image. I love this deck. I really, really like this deck. And we have the ace, and here we have a hand offering the cup, like we would see in many tarot decks. This is interesting. Very, very interesting. Like I said, I prefer this one, which is good because I paid a lot more for this one. Okay, so the King of Swords. Look at him sitting there in all of his glory. This one's standing, full armor. This one only has armor in at the upper body and perhaps the knee. But although those are probably leggings, not armor. Love the crowns, love the swords, but I love the architecture here. Lovely. The Queen of Homme de Robe. Okay, redheaded? No, I guess not. No. Here we have the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords has been coming up for me a lot in my weekly spreads for myself. Just putting that out there. Love this queen in the architecture and that she is also armored just as much as the king. Now we have the Warrior Queen. I like that. And we have the Knight of Swords. The horse looks pretty active, especially in this deck. No armor on this knight. We got armor on this one. Interesting. Very interesting. Look, even the page is armored here. Look at that hat. Isn't that crazy? Little mustache on the page, the hair, long hair. Beautiful. Beautiful. Looking a little bit, I don't know. Maybe that is French clothes. I was feeling a little bit of Spanish, but that's probably French. Now, this page is a pretty page. It's a very pretty page. I'll admit that. The pages in this deck are very pretty. I kind of like that. Here we go with the Ten of Swords. Again, we have the Triactus. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tetractus. Instead of just 5 pointing up and 5 down. The Nine of Swords. 3 sets of 3, kind of flying up in the air. The Eight of Swords. Not much to say about that. Critique. Okay. Interesting keyword. Hope, I think, maybe. Espérance. The Seven of Swords. So the swords here are not all 100. I mean, because we've got upright and reversed meanings, we'll get a lot more positive meanings from what are often seen as unhappy or unfortunate suits, like the swords and even the wands in a lot of cases. Once we get above the 4 of wands into like 5 and 7 and 8 and 9, the wands in the Rider-Waite-Smith decks and the swords tend to be very negative looking cards, but roots, that seems like a very positive, neutral meaning to me. And here we go with pate. I don't know what that means. We got dual in the bottom. Perte. I do not know. The Five of Swords. Here we have the Four of Swords. Solitude. Solitude. I know that. I think I know that. We have 61 for the Three of Swords. Lovely. Okay, we've got the Two of Swords. Now, for the twos, this one is less decorated than the cups and the wands were, right? We got a little bit of landscape. We've got some coloration in the back, perhaps a sunrise or a sunset. We've got a little bit of red down there at the horizon and blue up above. Now, notice we've got a tax stamp here. I haven't noticed any tax stamps on in this deck. We've got a little tax stamp, upside down tax stamp, no less. No taxes. Okay, here we go with 63, which is the Ace of Swords. And again, a hand offering the sword. Little stumpy kind of sword, yeah? It kind of looks like more like a dagger than a sword to me, but let's call it a sword. Lovely. Okay, last suit of the coins. We have the King of Coin. Okay, I will admit I do like this coin a little bit better than this gray with an X here. This is much more interesting. However, except for the coin, I like the architecture. I like the scalloping above. The weird thing that's here on his crown, is that earmuff? Is that an earmuff? That's interesting. Okay, the Queen. Look at that. Now, these people look very, very active, right? They look like they're about to leap out of their seats, which is something I wouldn't necessarily think of for the Pentacle suits. This Queen looks very regal. Looks a little bit maybe, I don't know, maybe pregnant, maybe not. And why pregnant? Because of this gesture here. Looking like that hand resting on pregnant belly pose. But not necessarily. And here we have the, okay, now, so this Knight of Coin, the horse does not look any less active than any of the other knights. Just saying. Utility. I do like the coins in this deck a little bit better. Just the actual coin itself. Garçon brun. Brown-haired boy. Now, garçon brun? Femme brun? Okay, so this is the brown-haired people's suits, right? Okay, so garçon brun? Boy's got blonde hair, if you ask me. That's not brown. That's a little odd. Look at the city in the background. That's interesting. But a very pretty page. Pretty young boy. And, oh, look at this. Okay, so I wonder if there are going to be details in the Pentacle suits as well. So there were details in the suit of Wands at the bottom. There might be details in the suit of Pentacles as well, or coins. La maison, the house. Got the sun, the moon here, with a little protractor. We got the tetractys shape instead of, now this isn't a tree of life, it's not a tetractys, it's a 9 with a little tail, I don't know. Okay, so 69, we've got Leo reversed. Okay, just a moment. So, oh, okay, so, got it. So this X is Earth. This is Leo. I think this is Leo and the next one, no? Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, this might be something else. But we do have an astrological thing going here, drawn in here, a moon on its orbit. And here we got 9 coins. All of the coins are different here. Yes, in the 10 as well. All of the coins were different. Nice touch. I like that. And the 8. Now this looks more like Leo to me, upright. We've got the moon here as well. But there is a difference. There's a difference between these two moons. Yeah, the dot is up here with this moon. The dot is here with this moon below. Wonder what that means. Gonna have to study. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, good. Here we go to 7. And look at that figure, time. Looking like Jupiter here. Maybe. And coins here. I like this. Okay, I'm just really happy that I got that limited edition deck. I'm really, really happy with this. I'm really, really happy with this. I was afraid I was going to be unhappy because of the color of the background, frankly. I've seen other people's walkthroughs of this, and this color on camera was in other people's videos. It was like, I don't know, but I really don't like the blue titles in the Grimaud deck. So I decided to get this anyways, even though it's almost as pricey. And in person, this color is much more pleasant to see, to look at. So this is, just a second, is this Saturn? Maybe this is Saturn. This is Saturn and this is Jupiter. Yes. I'm a fool. Okay, revision. So Saturn, Jupiter. Okay. Here we go with the 5s. And we have Mars. I love this. I love it. I'm so happy I got this deck now. I'm so happy. Yay. Need to study it. I really do need to study it. But I'm very happy I got this deck. And the 4 of coins, which is the moon. And so I suppose that this is Diana. I guess. Could it be? Yes, it could, I suppose. When I think of Diana, I think of hunting, and I don't see any hunting accoutrement. I don't know. Okay, un poisson. So here we have Venus. Yes, Venus in the 3. Holding a cup of fire. And here we have Mercury, definitely Mercury. In the figure, the sign, look at the fire here in the 2. Being so close to the sun, I suppose. And for the ace, we have, I'm guessing, the sun. Yes, Apollo with the sun. Oh, this is so cool. Now, there's one more card left. You see that? One more card left. You see that? Guess what the last card is? Do you know? If you don't know this deck personally, can you guess which card have we not seen yet? What is the last card of the whole deck? Number 78. Oh, by the way, I like this coin. It is the Fool, Le Foyer. So here we have what looks like a very court jester person, right? Got the stripe hose. We got the very medieval court jester. Here we've got the guy, older guy, with, instead of a dog, looks like a leopard, but off on a journey. Yeah, little sack on their stick, a little bell to warn people. Lepers used to do that. I'm not sure. But we got this guy off on a journey. Instead of this fool looking like they're blind and dancing and covering their faces in the middle of nowhere. So, nice deck. I'm glad I have it. It will be good to study with, and I can be less careful with this deck when I'm studying with it or playing with it. But frankly, I really, really like this deck, and I'm so happy that I got it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know. What do you think? Which deck do you prefer? I know that a lot of people actually do prefer that deck. A lot of people prefer a lot of these images. For example, a lot of people prefer this sun image and this moon image. But for me, 99% of the images, the details. I prefer this deck much more than this one. Now you'll notice that this deck is also thicker than this deck. Yes? You can tell that, right? Now, okay, did I add the card? No, I didn't add any cards. Okay, so yes, they're both the same 78, and this one has thicker cardstock than this one. Ladies and gentlemen, please follow me and ask Lo Scarabeo to produce this deck again, perhaps in just a little bit easier to shuffle cardstock. Let's see how this shuffles. Yeah, it's a 78 card deck, but it's very thick and it's glossy. So let me see. I will shuffle and perhaps pull a card for us and see what we get. So my shuffling technique, right? This is how I shuffle my cards. I like the backs. I do like the backs on this one. These are fine. Actually, I like these backs too. This deck is going to be much easier to shuffle, just saying. But let's see how this goes. Am I going to shuffle in reversals? Let me shuffle in reversals. Whoa. Jump up. I'm going to shuffle in reversals. This is how I shuffle in reversals. Ta-dum. I turn this one this way, I turn this one this way, and oh, it's a little stiff. Okay, I can riffle shuffle. But it was a little bit stiff for me. Some things, they're nice when they're stiff, some things, not so much. And there we go. So I can riffle shuffle it. Let me concentrate. What is a message we would benefit from hearing today? What is a message we would benefit from hearing today? What do we want to give focus to today? What do we want to give focus to today? Be interesting if I got the Queen of Swords, because again, that's been coming up for me a lot. Okay, so what do we want to give focus to today? Okay, I'm going to do my whole shuffle. So if you want to skip ahead, skip ahead. Let's see. 4, 5. Now, you know I'm just going to have to put these back in order, right? Because I need to study this deck. 6. What would we benefit from focusing on today? What would we benefit from giving attention to today? So this is my way of shuffling. What would we benefit from giving attention to today? What would we benefit from giving attention to today? 2 more riffles. What would we benefit from giving attention to today? Oh, it's okay. So it's already getting easier. What would we benefit from paying attention to today? Okay, yes. These cards will be okay in the future. With use, they will soften up and the shuffle will become easier over time. Good to know. What would we benefit from giving our attention to today? Just pulling one card. And here we go. Cut. Okay, what do you guess? Is it going to be upright or reversed? Guess now. Okay, let's see. What would we benefit from giving attention to today? Yes, it is reversed. So, we have the Knight of Wands. Disunion. This looks like disunion. Disunion. So, normally when I think of the Knight of Wands, I think of adventure, action, riding off to create, yeah, leaping into things. But upright, this looks like depart. Yeah, taking off, okay, to depart, to leave. But here we have desunion, which is disunion. Let me see what I get in the book here. Let's see if I can find the English. And divinatory meanings, number 24, the knight, upside down, problems with a relative because of someone else. Problems with a relative because of someone else. So, apparently, what we want to give attention to is family problems caused by non-family members, which is interesting. So, let me know if that has any meaning for you. Again, I'm not a reader of Etteilla yet, and so I need to do some studying. This is a very predictive kind of reading, right? So we want to be careful of people influencing our family members in a direction that is unbeneficial for our relationship. Yeah, that third party influence. We want to be aware of that possibility, I suppose. So friends, here we are, the 2 Etteilla decks. Again, what do you think? Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're interested in a private reading from me, not with this deck yet, but with perhaps a Rider-Waite-Smith or a Tarot de Marseille or an older an antique Italian deck, I have my Instagram account linked in the description box below. You can hop over there and send me a direct message because YouTube does not allow private messages. You can send me a direct message at Instagram and we can work out a way to get a reading a reading for you. And friends, now, as always, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, hit the alarm bell so you get notifications of when I upload videos, and do comment below. I would love to hear from you. Which one do you like better? Why do you like one more than the other? Or do you like both? Do you have them? Do you work with them? How do you work with them? Let's talk. And friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.